Assalamualaikum. For this assignment, I have chosen the journal article paper number 3, which is acetylcholinesterase inhibition by flavonoids from Agrimonia pilosa. This presentation is prepared by me, Naziatul Amila binti Arifin. So for this journal article, I will analyze throughout the abstract, introduction, result discussion, conclusion, acknowledgement, experimental, and also reference. So firstly, we are going to take a look at the abstract. So as you can see in the first line where I highlighted the acetylcholinesterase, my opinion is that the author does not describe or does not put into any description about what is acetylcholinesterase, and also the abstract is too brief without any concluded sentence, and they also lack of the background or the method used. So what I think is that the author should improve in explaining and describe what is acetylcholinesterase, and also they should have constructed the concluding sentence in order to summarize the potential impact of the studies. And lastly, I think they should have conclude and also state the IC50 values. Next, for the introduction, you can see where I indicate the line where it goes 2.5 million to 4 million estimated. For this introduction, they do not have any statistical proof where they could support their statement. And also, for this introduction, they don't have any author's finding where they can refer to in order to support their statement. So, continue from the introduction, as you can see the part in the green highlighted, the line where it goes back because of the bioavailability problems and possible side effects. For me, the author does not put any detailed elaboration about what kind of side effects. And the next paragraph in the yellow highlighted, that one is the good statement for starting the paragraph. And lastly, the line where it goes describe the isolation and characterization of flavonoids compounds, blah blah blah. For me, that one, they do not have any supporting reference in order to conclude their introduction. Now we're going to the result discussion part. So in the first paragraph, in the green highlighted parts, this part has a very poor sentence structure and it does not have any reference or author's finding to prove their statement. In the second paragraph, they does not have any name for the compound they are talking about. Instead, they just say compound 1. And the whole statement does not have any clear relation of each explanation stated. And also, the authors insert the first chart at how they isolate acetylcholinesterase inhibitors from Agrimonia pilosa. And in the figure 2, they show the chemical structure of flavonoids which are isolated from the Agrimonia pilosa, and also the structure of dihydroavodimine hydrochloride, and also the structure of berberine. Continuing from this discussion part, the authors did indicate and stated the result data, and also they also put the technique they are using. So this is the list of the data that they are able to obtain, like the hydrogen NMR, the tutti carbo NMR, HMBC spectrum, IR spectrum. So for this part is pretty well because they state the IC50 values, and also they have a clear result data of IC50 values in each compound stated. Then we are going to the conclusion. For the conclusion, they just have a very brief explanation without any supporting elaboration or supporting statement in order to conclude their study, and they also have a misspelling for the word of activity. Next, we are going into the acknowledgement. This study was supported by a research grant for the Ministry of Health and Welfare. The Republic of Korea MP acknowledged the fellowship of the BK21 program from the Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development. So this shows this is well supported and also convincing. So for the experimental part, they have stated the origin of the chemical reagents, where they obtain the chemical grade reagents from sigma average, and they also put the detailed measurement of the particle size for the silica gel they are using so that they could have prevent any errors from happening in the experiment. And they also explain the whereabouts of the plant material they are using, and also they have a very thorough and detailed procedure of the extraction by screening and isolation technique. So for this experimental statement, they have put a very detailed and very thorough procedure step by step at how they are doing the experiment in order to isolate, to extract the compounds from the Agrimonia pilosa. And in the last part of the experimental, they have stated the determination of inhibitory activity against acetylcholinesterase. So for this part, it's very summarized procedure, and I think they should have put more detailed and thorough step-by-step procedure in order to avoid any confusion. So this is the list of the compound they are using in the experimental, like the color of the compound, the chemical formula of the compound, and so like the list down the data they are obtaining from the experiment that they have been conducted. And lastly, we are going into the reference part. So they have a very long list of the reference and authors they're referring to by doing their studies. But they didn't put any authors funding in order to support their statement, in order to strengthen and convince their study in the structure. And also I think that these references are in the wrong format because they should have been in the APA citation format, which is American Psychological Association. So to conclude my overall overview of the journal's article that I have chosen, I think this is a bad article because they could be improved a lot better. So that's all from me. Thank you.